With the NBA Finals going on right now, it seems like the perfect time to rank the past 10 champions based on how good of a team they actually were. A good team can mean very different things to different people, so the key will be gathering consistent information and statistics to compare them against each other. One of the metrics that will be used will be how easily did they advance to and win the finals. That's just one metric, but an important one. Of course, a good team can struggle to win the championship, but the teams that easily make their way through are usually the best. Metrics that will be looked at will be points per game, points allowed per game, offensive, defensive rating, and average win differential throughout the season. I'm Nick Ridgewire here with the 10th inning, power ranking the past 10 NBA champions. Without further ado, let's start with the number 10 team. That would be the 2023 Denver Nuggets. Going 53-29, the Nuggets were tied for the worst record of any recent champion who played a full season. The reason they were so good is that they had former MVP Nikola Jokic leading the way, almost averaging a triple-double. Outside of that, they were average. The worst net point difference of any team at plus 3.3 and net rating difference at plus 3.4. This really was not a good team in terms of champions. The second most points allowed on the list at 112.5 per game, they ranked 8th in the league in points allowed and 15th in defensive rating at 114.2. They were the best team in the conference via record, but the West was fairly weak on the season. Jokic, having a great regular season, did the same in the playoffs. It was both him and Jamal Murray who went off, leading to a 16-4 playoff run and a 4-1 finals victory over the Miami Heat. This finals overall, though, was not great, and though Jokic got his only ring, this is the worst team of any finals winner since 2016. Moving to number 9, it is the first of one of the shortened seasons in the 2021 Milwaukee Bucks. A great offensive team led by Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton. The defense was lacking, allowing 114.2 points for the 22nd most in the league, while having a defensive rating of 111.4, ranking 10th in the league. An offensive rating of 117.2 was good for 6th, while the Bucks scored the most points per game at 120.1. A former two-time MVP in Giannis, he made first-team All-NBA and All-Defense, while Jrue Holiday also made first-team All-Defense. Outside of that, they were a decent team, finishing 46-26 in the shortened season, good for 3rd in the East. In their playoff run, they narrowly escaped the Nets in 7 games in round 2 after easily advancing past the Heat. A 6-game series came against the Hawks in the conference finals, but then Giannis went crazy in the finals after they advanced, averaging 35.2 points and 13.2 boards on 6-18 shooting en route to MVP. The Bucks were great at moving, maybe better than any other team on this list, but they had their weaknesses when the game slowed down, and with that, they ranked only 7th. The Bucks would win that finals in 6 games that season. Going to number 8, it is the last of Stephen Curry's NBA Finals trophies in the 2022 Golden State Warriors. The 22 Warriors were a far different team than the mid to late 2010s teams that had Durant. Only going 53-29 in the regular season, tied with the Nuggets, for the fewest wins of any recent champion, in the postseason, everything came together. Middle of the pack offensively, ranking 15th at 111 points per game, their defense was great, only allowing 105.5 points per game, 3rd in the league. Their defensive rating was the best in the league at 106.9, while their offensive rating ranked 17th at 112.5. Their net rating was plus 5.6, which ranked 5th in the league. This was not a bad team overall, just not those same Warriors, now with an older Draymond, Clay, and now Andrew Wiggins. Curry was great in the playoffs, averaging 27.4 points, while they never lost more than 2 games in a series. The Warriors held Boston to 100.8 points in the finals and held them to 11 points under their season average. Curry won MVP, and while this team was very good, no doubt, there were still better champions. Overall, the Warriors went 16-6 on their playoff run. Moving to number 7, and while it was one of the greatest stories of all time in finals history, it is the 2016 Cavaliers. LeBron James. That's really all that needs to be said about this team. Of course, they had Kyrie Irving too, who was instrumental in their playoff run, but outside of that, this is frankly a bottom-tier team. Now, obviously, without their top 2 players, the team would not be as good, but this team was so top-heavy that they would be a fringe playoff team without these 2. Defensively, for the era, they were also average, but overall, for this list, with an increased pace of play, they were decent and one of the best, with a 104.5 defensive rating, which ranked 10th on the season. This team had the lowest points per game and lowest offensive rating of any team here, at 104.3 points per game and a 110.9 offensive rating. Going 57-25 in the regular season, this team got hot when it mattered and easily advanced through the postseason, making the finals against the 73-9 Warriors, who they beat in 7 games, in maybe the most underdog finals ever. With LeBron, you could never really count Cleveland out, but out of the past 10 champions, they had the best finals win. Outside of that, they were average. Moving to number 6, we have the other shortened season in the 2020 Los Angeles Lakers. This team was having a great regular season before the stoppage, going 52-19, good for first in the West. 113.4 points and a 112 offensive rating were both good for 11th in the league, while 107.6 points against and a 106.3 defensive rating were good for 4th and 3rd in the league. A great defensive team. Offensively, they were led by LeBron and Anthony Davis. Davis finished 2nd in Defensive Player of the Year voting and on the first team All-NBA and defensive team, while James made the first team All-NBA and 2nd in MVP voting. A top-heavy team in those two, they were a cohesive defensive team outside of them, and in the bubble, they showed it. Losing 1 game each round until the finals against the Heat, the Lakers were once again led by the two-headed monster. James averaged 29.8 points, while Davis averaged 25 and 2 blocks. The Heat were a good team who got hot in the bubble, but they were no match for the Lakers, who won it in 6. The Lakers were good, but so top-heavy, they were not one of the top teams, but overall, they were a very good unit, with LeBron winning MVP, ranking 6th overall. Moving to number 5, go to the 2019 Toronto Raptors, who Kawhi Leonard would end up winning MVP. Kawhi Leonard's one and only season with the Raptors saw them bring the championship, everything they imagined when trading for him. The Raptors scored 114.4 points a game while allowing 108.4, good for 8th and 9th in the league respectively. Their ratings were also both very good, with an offensive rating of 113.1 and a defensive rating of 107.1, both good for 5th in the league. Their net +6 rating was good for 3rd in the league, and overall they were a strong team with Leonard, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, and Fred VanVleet. They finished 58-24, good for 2nd in the East, but in the playoffs, that's when they came alive. The 76ers took them to 7 games, and a crazy shot by Leonard sent them to the conference finals, where they beat Giannis's Bucks in 6 games. Not relying on Leonard solely, in the finals, they defeated the Warriors, who had Durant for 1 game. Leonard averaged 28.5 points in the series, and they had 6 players in double digits overall, winning the series in 6 games. Overall, they had a very balanced team and surprisingly, one of the best out of the recent teams. Moving to number 4, it is the most recent team on this list, the 2025 Oklahoma City Thunder, who won the championship in 7 games. The only team to win the championship with the MVP of the league over the last 10 seasons, the Thunder were more than just their MVP. Collectively, they were a great team, and that was shown through their 68-14 record, the best of any recent champion. 4th in points per game at 120.5 and 3rd in points allowed per game at 107.6. This team was the best net point rating of any team at +12.9. They also had the best net rating overall with a 120.3 offensive rating and a 107.5 defensive rating for a +12.8 net rating. There was nothing this team couldn't do. They had 2 players make the first and second team All-Defense, while Shai Gilgeous-Alexander made the All-NBA first team. Keeping up their dominance in the playoffs, they went 16-7 overall. Not the dominance they showed in the regular season, going 7 in 2 separate series, but this team was hard to beat. Alexander ended up winning Finals MVP, and time will only tell, but as of right now, they were one of the best recent champions, ranking 4th. Moving to the top 3, we start with the 2024 Boston Celtics, who won the series in 5 games. Not having the biggest star recognition as some of the teams on this list, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were extremely instrumental to their great season and playoff run. Easily 2 top 20, if not 15 players in the game, they helped lead the best offensive rating in the league at 123.2 and 3rd best defensive rating at 111.6, combining for the best net rating at +11.6. Point-wise, they scored 120.6 and allowed 109.2, good for 2nd and 5th in the league. The top team in the East at 64-18, the Celtics easily made their way through the playoffs, losing only 1 game in each of the first 2 rounds, before only losing 1 more over the final 2 rounds. 1 All-NBA player and 2 members of the second team All-Defense, the Celtics were as complete of a team as any. Boston constantly put pressure on you offensively and defensively, and were sneakily one of the best teams in recent memory. Based on net points and net rating alone, they were slightly behind the Thunder, but based on their playoff dominance where they went 16-3 overall, they ranked slightly above the Thunder, even though both teams were great overall. As we know now, the top two are the Warriors. At number 2, the 2018 Warriors, who swept the Cavaliers in the finals, not as dominant as their 2017 edition. The 2018 Warriors were just as deadly. Still having Curry and Durant as their main two, Thompson and Green were still there, making them even more deadly. First in points per game at 113.5, and third in offensive rating at 113.6. Offensively, they were the Warriors of old. Defensively, they were in the middle of the pack, allowing 107.5 points per game, with a defensive rating of 107.7. They sported a plus 6 points and net rating, good for third in the league. They finished second in the West, mostly due to Curry playing in only 51 games and Durant playing in 73. However, come playoff time, they were right back to being the Warriors, winning the first 2 series in 5 games. The conference finals against the Rockets were their toughest test, going 7 games in what could have been considered the finals. In the finals, though, they easily swept the Cavs thanks to both Curry and Durant. Durant would win his second straight finals MVP, averaging 28.8 points, 10.8 rebounds, and 7.8 assists. This was not as good as their 2017 team, but when fully healthy, this team was just as good. That leads us to number 1, and no surprise to anybody, it is the 2017 Warriors. Winning the finals in 5 games, there's no question here. This team was stacked and overpowered. 2 former MVPs in Kevin Durant and Curry, to go with another great shooter in Klay Thompson. This team had everything, and coming off the previous season's defeat, there was no beating this team. Adding Durant in free agency, this team had the second best record of any champion of the past 10 years, going 67-15. They also had the best net point rating to go with the best net rating in general at plus 11.6 for both. The best offensive rating in the league at 115.6, they had the second best defensive rating at 104. There was nothing this team couldn't do. In fact, it was the lowest defensive rating of any team here. They easily made their way through the playoffs, sweeping every round before losing only one in the finals en route to a 16-1 playoff run. Kevin Durant would win his first finals MVP, and though not the regular season record holder of the 73-9 Warriors, this team is in consideration for the greatest team of all time, so it's no surprise they top this list. Those are my power rankings for the past 10 NBA champions. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Let me know if I did get it wrong, where I went wrong. This has been Nico Dwyer for the 10th inning. Thank you all for watching.